Okay, so we're going to look at this question, which is a 9-mark question on the GCSE AQA spec, and the question being, explain the long-term adaptions to the respiratory system through regular cardiovascular exercise. So there's a couple of things we need to know from this question. First of all, we need to know what cardiovascular exercise is. So cardiovascular exercise being anything where your heart rate raises to 60% of your maximum heart rate through continuous training or interval training or file training. So we're looking at exercise which raises your heart rate to 60 to 80% of your maximum heart rate, that being your aerobic training zone. Second key point is the long-term effects, so not the immediate effects, so not the depth of tidal volume increasing, but in fact what happens over time. Okay, so maybe look at a 6-month period. And the final one is actually the respiratory system. So basically, the respiratory system being the lungs, in particular the alveoli, the capillaries, and the ability to transport oxygen into the body and take carbon dioxide out. So first thing what I'd like to make a point of is we're going to look at using 3 paragraphs. So you want 3 paragraphs, each paragraph gaining you 3 marks in this area. So 3 paragraphs where you're looking at bringing 3 different long-term adaptations to the respiratory system. Okay, so the first adaptation you're going to look at is the increased strength in the intercostal muscles. Okay, so we're going to look at the intercostal muscles, and basically the intercostal muscles being a muscle, through regular exercise they strengthen. Okay, so the stronger they are, the better they are at contracting, relaxing and working with the diaphragm and bringing in oxygen and using that oxygen and taking it down into the alveoli and obviously diffusion. So intercostal muscles strengthen, which makes the system of breathing, the mechanism of breathing, more effective. The second point we're going to look at is the vital capacity. Okay, so like I said previously, but vital capacity is the maximum amount of air you can get into your lungs. Like I said, roughly a healthy adult would be 6 litres, whereas if you look at Michael Phelps, he can bring in 12 litres of air into his respiratory system, into his lungs. Just bear in mind from what we said last lesson that when you do inhale, okay, it isn't all oxygen. Only 21% roughly is oxygen which you are breathing in, and then roughly 17% breathing out. So it's not all oxygen which we are breathing in for us to use. Okay. Thirdly, what we're going to look at is the increased number of alveoli. Alright, so when you exercise, the number of alveoli in your respiratory system increases, and the reason that increases is because carbon dioxide levels in your body when you exercise increase, which the body doesn't like, and therefore because the body doesn't like, it needs to get rid of those gases. And the way it gets rid of those gases is, like we've said previously, in relation to the diffusion process. It therefore generates more alveoli, which allows the diffusion process of carbon dioxide going into your alveoli and out of your body more effective. So the increased number of alveoli gets rid of the carbon dioxide, but also because there are more alveoli, it allows more oxygen then to be diffused into your body, and then therefore the body can use that oxygen more effectively. So it works both ways. If you look at your top athletes, Mo Farah, then it'll be very good. You'll be able to use oxygen very effectively. And the final one, what we're going to say, as a result of that, the body's ability to use oxygen within a minute increase, and that is known as your VO2 max. Okay, so your VO2 max is more effective. Okay, so the amount of oxygen you use in 1 minute becomes more effective, basically because of the above. More alveoli, the vital capacity is bigger, the intercostal muscles are stronger. So because of all 4 of those, it makes the respiratory system a lot more effective in terms of a mechanism. And obviously if you look at it in a sporting context, then obviously it allows performance levels to increase, particularly anything to do with cardiovascular, anything to do with any activity you're doing which is cardiovascular. So what I'd like to do now is select those 4 areas and bring them into your answer. Okay, so like we said previously about the 3 paragraphs for a 9-mark question, paragraph 1 you might want to talk about the intercostal muscles, paragraph 2 you might want to talk about the vital capacity, paragraph 3 you might want to talk about the alveoli, and then you can bring the VO2 max into that as a summary, or you can use it in paragraph 2 or 3 being the vital capacity and the alveoli. So have a go at that. All the best, and get yourself 9 marks.